You know, as a child, I constantly felt like I was too much or I was never enough. If someone corrected me, I heard deep rejection. If someone sounded frustrated with me, I assumed that I had just failed. If I was left out or ignored or misunderstood, it didn't just hurt my feelings, it was overwhelming and it felt just crushing. I spent years believing I had to work harder, I had to perform better, I had to become less difficult to be accepted. And this story isn't unique. Many people who live with ADHD, trauma histories, severe anxieties, and neurodivergent experience have something that is called rejection sensitive dysphoria, RSD. It is an intense emotional response to perceived criticism, rejection, disappointment, failure. Even small moments start to become very overwhelming to the nervous system. So let me explain a little bit. How do children sometimes show up with RSD? They may cry easily after they get rejection, like you can't do that, feels like a body blow. They can become angry or defensive so quickly and just really try to fight and argue their point. They avoid trying new things because they're afraid that if they try something and they fail it, they feel like bad. And they say things like, nobody likes me. I'm so stupid. You may have somebody who becomes very perfectionistic and tries to people please and do everything that everybody around them wants them to do. Or they may melt down after they have feelings of embarrassment or they start feeling like they're excluded. You don't grow out of it. Adults also have RSD and they may overanalyze their conversations. They nitpick everything that's been said. Did I say it right in the right tone? Did I use the right words? And you start replaying those conversations over and over and over. Did they really do what I think they did? Or are they trying to send me something? They always assume that everybody's upset with them. If you just don't respond to them, they feel like, oh my gosh, I've done something terrible. I'm on the brink of divorce. If I'm in a relationship, they're never going to be friends with me again. They may struggle with criticism in work and in relationships. They may withdraw socially. They may become very highly sensitive or sometimes even emotionally flooded when they feel like there's just way too much emotion for them to be able to hold on to. And a lot of people that have RSD, they come forward into adulthood with deep shame about their experiences. They feel different. The important things to understand is that these reactions are not simply somebody being dramatic. It's often the nervous system has learned to expect rejection. It has learned to react that all emotional pain is dangerous and a danger to them. So what are some things that you can do? Well, let's start with children. For children, you can correct behavior gently while protecting connection. Telling them they're really good at something when they're melting down doesn't change the innate feelings of not being good enough. So you can focus on the things that they do well. You can praise effort and not perfection. You really did good. You made that effort to write that down on the paper, and that's great. You can teach emotional vocabulary and not shame reactions like, I can't believe you forgot that. What do you mean you didn't bring your pen to class? Everybody knows you need to have something to write with. Those are shame reactions and they don't need to happen. You need to help them identify thought versus facts, because a lot of people that struggle with RSD believe that their emotions are telling them that people don't like them and they react accordingly. And so you need to remind them that just because you feel like somebody doesn't like you doesn't mean that's the case. You want to help create with children predictable routines and give them safe emotional spaces where they can go and they can share these weird mess of feelings that they sometimes have. You want to model repair after conflict. You know, we had a hard moment right now. That was really tough, but you know what? I still love you. What about adults? What can we do? Well, you can pause before assuming that rejection is truth. That one I took a long time to learn. You can ask clarifying questions instead of just trying to mind read and guess what you think that other person is thinking, believing, or saying. You can journal the evidence about this negative belief. So I believe so and so doesn't like me, or so and so has fallen out of love with me. Let me write, how do I know that this is true, and why do I think it's not true? An adult should learn how to ground when they get emotionally flooded. Way to kind of take that deep breath. Take a deep breath, step aside, do something to help regulate those emotions. Learn to separate correction from worth. You may not think I'm good at something, but I am a good person. Work with trauma-informed therapy practices and approaches when needed, because remember, for adults who have been living this all their life and who don't know what it is, they feel like they're just made wrong. And we want to change that. One of the hardest things for people with RSD is that they often carry these invisible wounds from years and years of feeling misunderstood. And there's a lot of truth that sometimes you expect behavior and you get it. So they develop defensive behaviors in order to push people back, because it's so much easier for me to push you back and to have a brittle coating than for you to come back into my life and maybe hurting me. Sometimes the greatest healing is just finally learning what it is and naming it and being able to say, this is what's going on. This is my brain. I was never worthless. I was wounded, and I was trying to survive every single day emotionally. And as an older adult, I will tell you every single day, I have to remind myself and give myself grace for things that I said and did in my young adulthood when I was one big ball of emotional reactions. So it's okay. Your brain is wired that way. Learn it. Pay attention to it, and so that you can stop that spiral that sometimes goes on.